HIV and AIDS is still a challenge to the world. In Nigeria, the government has rolled out several programs in the states of the nation to ensure that there is the creation of awareness of HIV knowledge and also that people have free access to treatment and care. Today, we want to find out what are these programs, what are the challenges that have been encountered trying to reach out to people in communities. Today, our case study is also in Badagry local government area of Lagos State. I'm sure you might wonder why Badagry. Badagry has a high HIV prevalence rate. I want to find out what are the drivers of the epidemic in Badagry local government area. Hello and welcome to Free Generation. My name is Nkem Okibe. Badagry, the cradle of Nigerian civilization and the frontier state of gunneries of West Africa, witnessing a high influx of people from other parts of the country and beyond simply because it is close to the border. It has several side attractions like the Marina Beach, popularly known as Marwa Garden, Badagry Heritage Museum containing slave trade relics, ASCON, the natural place for excellent management training, and with markets where you can get simply amazing and affordable prices. However, Badagry is known to have a high HIV prevalence rate of 8.1%, making it very important to create awareness on the epidemic. Several programs are being created and supported by the federal government of Nigeria. One of such programs is the ENR program. ENR program has brought out strategies that have been deployed to sensitize people in communities in Badagry. One of such is the interpersonal communication.
They are more or less trained peer educators by ENR on how to sensitize the general public on the scourge HIV/AIDS. Having trained them, they move from community to community to sensitize our people on how to take proper care of themselves against this scourge HIV/AIDS. Most importantly, our people here, they needed the information. On HIV/AIDS, there is need for us to really conscientize our people on how they should take proper care of themselves. Most importantly, most of the communities here, they are along the border between Nigeria and Republic of Benin, and due to the high influence of a migrant day in, day out into the community, our people needed this information. Apart from the information, they also need places where they can access free counseling and testing. We want to ensure that they know more about their communities and the service providers within their communities. Here in Badagry now, this is a Jara community where we have the PACs around there. And through the effort of the Federal Minister of Health, with the State Minister of Health and the local government as well, has been, made it possible for us to ensure that all needed equipment are being supplied in our primary health care centers that are very close to the people, where people can go and access free counseling and testing. Knowing their status will also enable them to quickly embark on necessary stage of action.
With this strategy, everyone in the community would have a basic idea of what HIV is, but what really are the drivers of the epidemic in Badagry.
The major factor is, one, poverty. When people doesn't take good food, there's no water, good drinking water. Like my people, because of not because of this water, or some of them have money to just dig a borehole at their backyard. Let me put that way. You know, those days, like I've they will just go to the stream, to the lagoon, and take that water to wash cloth. They take that water and drink. They will bath inside the water. Those days, when we are not being educated, they will take those things. So from there, there's no way we can run away. Those are the major factors that spread HIV.
Ignorance, lack of education, illiteracy. Because if somebody is a victim of HIV, there is no need to make jest of such a person, because it may not be through sexual intercourse she had it or he had it. It could be through making of her hair, barbing of hair, and some other way, or even borrowing. Since they do fishing and farming here in this community, the cutlass used by someone can be borrowed from another person. If they don't know the fellow is HIV positive, with this it can come to.
One, this community is, for me, I will classify it as a border community. It's very close to the border, you understand? And people from here also interact with the population at the border. So the implication is very simple. So even from interaction with community members, there's this relationship. And of course, you know the way HIV goes round. So once you engage with a highly mobile population that we see at the border, and then one person goes out and brings it back to the community, and again, condom use from our interaction is very low. In terms of knowledge and use, they don't understand what. The last community dialogue we had like last week or 2 weeks ago in the same community. Somebody after the dialogue, the person said, wow, that was an elderly man, and he said he was going to start using condom, that he never knew that he could have been at risk of contracting HIV. So condom use knowledge is low. They don't think that they are at risk. They just think that HIV is something you read about, or it's, should be among sex workers. And so that kind of information gap and low risk perception on behalf of the community members is also a factor when you want to consider the drivers of epidemic in a community like this.
What is making rampant is that we know we are near to border. We are very close to border, and many people comes in and out to the community, so that is the problem you are having. Because when you said you will not have HIV, then the small ladies, the men will come, and even if before you know, many people will come and get them away, and we can surely get HIV from that place, because we are near to border.
Free sex. I mean free sex. When I mean free sex, they don't care about condom. They just do it the way they want it, and that's why the thing is spreading.
Another strategy is the STAR program, which is available in some communities in Badagry.
Okay, STAR, the full meaning of STAR is Societies Tackling AIDS Through Rights. It's a kind of community empowerment approach to development, but for specifically to HIV and AIDS. And in this community, Yafi community is one of the communities in Badagry where the STAR, in collaboration with the local government authorities, has been rolled out. In Badagry, we're working in 4 communities, and we're working in Yafi, Salu, Ilogberemi, and the Akatebu community. So here, the whole idea is that you have a group of people between 25 and 30 who were trained as facilitators. Those people are trained to help the community to look at issues, prioritize the issues, and then analyze the issues. Using the issues, and then develop kind of action plan that will help them.
In the Yafi community, the STAR program has helped the community members. How has it fared, and what has been the challenges so far?
STAR Circle has made a lot of this community, I may say, to be aware of what the World HIV/AIDS is. And not that alone, the challenges we've been facing so far, before even bringing together some people, is that most of the time they tell us many NGOs have been coming to this community. They asked them what they needed. They've been telling them about certain things, but at the end of everything, nothing to show for it. So therefore, they are not interested. So that's number one challenge. Another thing is that when you call them together like that, they expect you at the end of everything, you entertain them. If not heavy refreshment, at least light refreshments. That one too is another exercise. Then this Star Circle, Aquama or Star Circle, has made a lot of them to know the socks by which they can be victims of HIV, and some of them too, now they know that with these little aspects they have learned, they should be able to educate their children sex-wise, and also to advise them not to be victim, because something that doesn't have cure, one has to run away from it. And many homes are aware of it now.
The STAR group, like I said, is made up of about 25 to 30 persons. They meet monthly, at times they meet twice in a month. They look at issues. Now, looking at health, for example, here in this community, they've been able to identify health as a key issue which the community is actually grappling with. And for us, we look at this, that in a place like this, where if you look at the last survey, Sentinel surveillance report that was released, Badagry has the highest in Lagos State. It's about maybe 7.3 or so. And then you look at it, the fact that Badagry, in terms of access to information, and also in terms of access to services, what should we do? So in this place now, they don't even have any health center or health facility, so they need to trek long distances to access health care. And from our interaction with the local community people here, we've come to understand that people have to trek long distances, and in the process they lose somebody, and then something happens.
Basically, STAR has achieved this aim looking at the strategy of STAR. One major thing about STAR is its uniqueness about using tools to analyze people's challenges and also building their capacity to be able to use these tools. And one of the tools are problem tree, where you need to dig deep into the basic issues before you now ascertain that this is the major issue that is confronting a particular society. Especially, let's take Yafi. Here, when we case of the poverty rate here, they expect more. Even when you give them refreshment, it is not enough. They expect you that whenever they see, they believe about them, about every community I have been able to find myself, is that they believe that when they see government people or they see agencies that are coming to work with them, they brought money for them. So the poverty level has made them that whenever they see visitors, they think visitors has brought one money to give them to share. And because they will tell you that, Oyibo giving our money now, can't you give us part of that money Oyibo has given to you? But we had to explain to them, and that's why the sensitization was very, very important. And our entry was good, because we were able to sensitize them from the onset. We had an open community meeting where we had to discuss and tell them the rudiment of these activities and the strategy about STAR. That we have not come to give you money, but we have come to build your capacity to be able to also demand for your rights.
We try to, in the STAR Circle, we try to convince them, but some of them are giving another issue that they do not have time to do such a thing. Even when to get to the hospital, they ask for money, they ask for this, they ask for that, they don't have such a thing with them. The only thing they believe, they should stay on their own. So we even let them know that even there's no health center here, it's a thing that they can go, but they say that we don't have any health center. How can someone go to a far distance to do a test and they do not have enough money?
Look at the road. Fortunately, the state government is doing something about the road. In the past, it used to be very, very inaccessible. People cannot come in, and when people cannot come in, it also affects the quality of services they get. So here, for example, the road the government is doing will also help them to access healthcare from the nearest facilities. Now, when you talk about HIV in a place like this, of course there are issues around HIV and AIDS. People will die, and people will brand those things as maybe witchcraft or other labels. But when you do a further analysis, you now realize when they begin to see the symptoms and they associate it with the known symptoms of HIV, and then they begin to understand that perhaps this thing could be linked to HIV. And that is why they are looking at, if they have centers, healthcare facilities that are available and accessible to them, it will become easier for them to say, okay, from time to time. Fortunately enough, the lacquer in this local government is very strong, and they're also helping the people to ensure that they have access to, even if it is mobile ACT, you understand, where they can't access something like HIV counseling and testing, you bring it to that community, and then people are able to at least know their HIV status, which is the starting point for any HIV intervention. The moment people know their HIV status, it becomes easier. Even when you want to talk about prevention of mother-to-child transmission, a woman, you are only able to prevent that infection if you know your HIV status from that beginning. So the whole thing is tied to ensuring that the people are able to recognize HIV as an issue, and then ask themselves, beyond what government can do for them. You understand that here they also look at, if the people are not empowered, what can we do for ourselves? What can government do for us? Then what are the gaps in existing responses? So the STAR approach looks at community empowerment in terms of empowering communities to look at issues and say, wow, we have a right to these things, so why are we not getting these rights? What can we do? And fortunately they are taking steps to addressing some of those challenges they've identified over this period of time.
For the Yafi community members, they still believe the government can do more as regards to the epidemic.
Things government can do to help us reduce the effect of HIV/AIDS in this community. One, by providing jobs for youths. When they are engaged, there won't be much time to go into things that will make them become victims. That's number one. Another one, giving us health facilities can be another help. By then they can get awareness through the right source. Then, not that alone, teenage pregnancy and the rest will not go to quack doctors or chemists to have whatever they want to be skilled hands. So by that way, government can assist this community.
You can't wait for hospital. We should help us with hospitals. If they can build health centers for us here, there will not be any form of raping. And if you want to give birth, it will be easy with health centers. We can test our blood before passing it on to any individual, and the spread of HIV will be reduced.
So tí ó bá wà nínú community gangan kò ní sírú gbogbo yẹn táǹfààní ẹ̀ ń bá wà.
Go and know your status. It better make you know your status. If you are free, if it's no, yes, that means you are free, and stay free. It's very, very important. But if you are positive, that's not the end of life. Go to the hospital. Go and take drugs. Government, they give drugs out now for free. Oh, I say it again, for free. Take your medicine well. Nothing will happen to you. No say because you dey positive, you go infect others. It's not good though. God knows like camo.
Make sure you go for HIV test in the worst situation every 3 months. If you are found to be positive, there's no big deal about it. Go for your drugs. You will be given a drug. If you found negative, it is all good for you. And in that case, you make sure you keep it up, abstain yourself. And if you want to do, you know the right thing to do. If you know that you have not conducted a test on HIV, please, these tests are free. Go to general public hospitals, they do it for you.
Mo rọ gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà pé kán lọ ṣe àyẹ̀wò àrùn àìsàn tí ó gbóògùn, torí pé àìsàn tí ó gbóògùn ó ṣe kó pani ni, tòótọ́ ló wà. Irú àwa báyà ti ṣe àyẹ̀wò àwa òkè, ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ní náà kò ṣe ń tá máa lékò láwùjọ. Ọmọ lè ní, ìyá lè ní, àbúrò lè ní, ara wa ni wọ́n. Ìkọ́ sábà sá fún wọn bí ìgbà tí wọ́n kó bá wọn sí ni. Tábà sá fún wọn máa lọ bọ́sẹ̀ gbèbè kan wọ́n máa ronú. Tó máa ronú yẹn ọjọ́ tó yẹ kán lò tó bá jẹ́ 20 years nínú ìrònú wọ́n lè lo ọdún mẹ́wàá kan lọ kú. So adẹ̀bẹ̀ ìjọba kán bá ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́, kán bá fún wọn lóògùn. Amamihe na-esi n'aka Chukwu. Mana ọ bụrụ na mmadụ dị positive or negative na HIV, ọ ga-akara ya mma onye nọ negative ya nọrọ negative, mara na Chukwuna nyere ya aka ya nọ negative mana onye n'ọnọdụ ihe aghọm ya bụrụ na ọ nọ positive ihe ọ ga-eme bụ ịnọ na-aṅụ ọgwụ enyere ya ka ọma maka na o nweghị ihe karịrị mmadụ ịma status ya dịka ndị bekee kwuru ya nye olu Igbo a na-akpọ ya ọnọdụ mmadụ so ịmara ọnọdụ gị na ihe gbasara HIV ọ na-aka mma dan onye na-amara ọ na-aga
sunana magazin Asiru so abinda nake so da Allah dan yi roko akai kan mutanen mu wanda suke dauke da wannan cuta ta AIDS wanda yake abu ne wanda yake mukaddari ko ba ka mai mukaddarin sa duk yanda karga kai ana daukar sa ta kowace hanyoyi da ko ba ka ba kuma baka da wani shikima akan sa wanda yake zaka ce zaka karka ka sai dai Allah ya kare mutane so da Allah kamar yadda gwamnati suke magana akai maza da mata duk wanda yake da wannan cuta din yayi kokari ya zo an fito da magani free ne yanzu magani
iwu fi sábà dùn ọdí àmì ọdẹ òpẹ òkú ọkẹ akẹgàdà pẹgbẹgẹ bàrẹ pẹgẹ sẹ ọdí mìíràn náà tànà HIV wẹmọ ẹ àmì mi wẹmọ akẹmí wà ọlẹ àmúhẹ wà á sẹjì dọtọ yọ kùtà mi bóyá lóye akẹmí mi kúkú náà wẹ alẹ kẹkẹ náà dà mí mi wẹ wá mọ ní mìíràn náà dà mí mìíràn náà wà dà apẹtẹgbẹ náà sẹ èkìtà mẹ ọmọ mi ọsẹsì.
The STAR program is also present in another community called Salu in Badagry.
And the problem with which is that to tell people about HIV is that, number one, we don't have a maternity in our area. So to tell people now, people did not know what means by HIV. When you tell them this HIV is real, people did not even believe because they are rural area. They believe HIV before you can see it, it shows in face. But if you have maternity in our place, we know people will be coming, the nurses will be telling them this is what HIV is, so that we will not be killing us like that, because HIV is very high in Badagry. That is the reason we are begging the government to do something about it.
The challenges are many. You know, nowadays girls don't want to believe that HIV is AIDS. It's real. They don't know, and that is the more reason why this group should come and counsel them always. Tell them HIV/AIDS is real, and if they cannot avoid it, they should use a condom. They should protect themselves so that we can minimize it at least to the BRS minimum.
Despite all these strategies, programs, the people of Badagry are still banking on the government to do more, especially in the context of HIV.
They can do is two things. One, maybe we can see more than these people counseling them. Then secondly, if there is health center, we counsel people to go, maybe freely, to know their HIV status. So that when we call them, they will know, because they believe they do not have such a thing. They say, how can they go outside the community to do such a thing? But if such a thing is here, they have the free mind to do it.
All the government should try to make sure that at least people get little to eat. At the local government level, give them small jobs so that they can have a little to eat. Without anything, nobody wants to die of starvation. Everybody will be now looking for money to feed himself and the children, and that's where the problem lies.
If essential commodity is being provided by the state government through the local government to the grassroots, all these things will be okay. Then spreading of HIV will reduce drastically. It's this poverty. That is the major factor.
Some of the programs that the government has rolled out in Nigeria, particularly in Lagos State. We must first appreciate what the government has done, but I think we still need more effort of the government in some of the communities that we have visited. Well, everybody is a stakeholder in the response to HIV. community leaders, the government, the 3 tiers of government, from the local government to the state and even to the federal level. I think we all need to come together to ensure that we go back to 0 new infections of HIV. That's how it has been on today's edition of the program. Keep sending your questions, comments and contributions to Free Generation 721@yahoo.com or SMS only to 070-6086-5487. Thank you for being part of today's program. See you next week.